All right, so let's get into Jamal Mashburn's conversation on JJ Reddit's podcast. And this is kind of old. This is probably a year old, maybe. And I remember seeing it a while back. I don't even know if I ever did a video on this or not. I don't think I did, but this is not my first time seeing this, but I wanted to bring it up. And this was also inspired by a conversation I had on my podcast 2 nights ago with Young Disciple. And I can't remember if it was on, I can't even remember what show it was on, but Young Disciple had said LeBron has the best or the highest IQ in NBA history or something like that. And he was like, Magic said his IQ was high. And I told him, I said, look, dude, all the superstars are in the same, they're in the same area as far as how smart they are as basketball players. That's why they're superstars. Like they didn't just show up and was like, man, I'm so good and talented that I can be the dumbest guy with the lowest basketball IQ, but I can still be a superstar because I just make buckets. The reason why they're so good is because they are that much more smarter and determined and all those things, right? So they all are kind of like on the same level. You can't put one above the other one. Just once you have a high IQ for sport or for basketball, y'all all in the same area. Either you're A plus or B or C or D or F, right? And I think LeBron is an A plus IQ guy as far as basketball. He knows he knows his stuff. He's learned a lot. But you gotta learn, because as coming in as a rookie, it's impossible for your IQ to be as high as someone that was a vet like Michael Jordan, right? Or like Kobe, because Michael Jordan went in the league when LeBron got there. But somebody like Kobe, his IQ was off the charts. And I don't think LeBron was nowhere near Kobe when he first came in the league. He's got to learn the NBA game as well to get smarter, right? So, Rondo IQ super high, Garnett, like Tim Duncan. Like, you can't tell me that the only A plus IQ that we've seen was LeBron's. Like, that is insane to think that, right? But what we do have is that we don't have a narrative following all these players trying to big up things that don't matter, right? And that's the reason why the narrative is out there about LeBron and his IQ, because like I was saying earlier in the show, when you're insecure a little bit, you got to create stories for yourself to kind of prompt you up. And that's what Clutch Sports and LeBron does. And that's why you always hear things like he's a great family man, because we got to find these ways to puff him up right after or right before we say that he's not better than Mike. He's not better than Mike, but he's a great family man, a great father, a great husband. Or he's not better than Mike, but he's an all-around basketball player. He's not better than Mike, but he's got a high IQ. He's not better than Mike, but it's just all these little things you got to throw out there. And I'm like, dude, that's not unique to LeBron. Like, everyone has a high IQ when you at that level. But listen to Jamal Murray, how he talked about Michael Jordan.
But as a player, I had the fortune to play against Michael Jordan in his last All-Star game when he was a Wizard. And Mariah Carey sang and all these different things. She was wearing a Wizard's dress and everything like that. But I got a chance to spend time with Michael Jordan, and we played one-on-one. You know how you're before the layup line and different things like that. And I always knew Michael Jordan was great. But when I chatted with him and he was able to break down my game analytically, Jamal, you like to go left 80% of the time, pull up with the right hand and different things like that. But then he gave me a solution. Go right 2 or 3 times in the game, and then gave me a story. He said, Dr. J and Larry Bird passed something down to me to play the game within the game. And I said, well, what are you referencing? He was like, well, in the game sometimes I'm not just going to score, it's how I'm going to score. So Jamal, if you go right 2 or 3 times in the game and you make a pull-up jump shot or right hand layup or whatever it is, you're balancing out your game. You're keeping the defense off balance. And this man went through every all-star and chatted about what their strength and weaknesses off the top of his head. And I sat there and I was like, I thought I knew a lot about basketball, but he's on a different level from how he looks at it, scouts it, observes it, implements it. And that, I want to say probably 6 or 7 games after the All-Star break, I implemented that, scored 50 on the Memphis Grizzlies just by turning the other way. And he was like, and we saw him again playing the Wizards, and I think he had 40 or something, and I had 39. And he was like, damn, I gave you some stuff to think about and you implemented. I was like, yeah, I really appreciate it. But just his insight and knowledge of the game, I see LeBron in that same regard of being able to pass along information and being a student of it, but also being able to communicate it, teach it to others, and just not preach it, if that makes sense. So Michael Jordan to me is always going to be one of my favorites.
There you got it, right? Not often people talk about players in the past about how great their IQ was, because it was already a given that we understood that they were above and beyond the rest of their competition as far as when it comes to knowing the game. And another thing that I like about what Michael said, because he didn't try to school Mashburn on the final points of the game and then take credit for it like he was the end all be all. He told Mashburn, this is what Magic and Bird passed down to me, because these are dudes that are before me. Right. And which is what I like about Mike, because when he talks about things in public, even when they talk about the GOAT stuff, and he'll say, I never say that I'm the GOAT, because he know, like, how can, Kobe Bryant said the same thing, and I'm glad they both said it, because Kobe used to be competitive like that and want to be like Mike and want to be better than Mike and all that stuff. But when he retired and they asked him, he said, man, that's the greatest of all time, man. That's Mike, man. Don't compare me to Mike. He said, I just want to be myself, And he said that while he was playing too, when Stephen A. Smith asked him, he said, I just want to be as good as I can be. I don't want to be compared to Mike, and after he retired, he said, I can never say I'm better than Mike, because I've called him so many times and got advice from him. It was like I would be stumped about certain things and be like, let me call Mike. Like he said, Mike was like a dictionary or encyclopedia to him. The information was there. He was like a library. And he would say every time he called them with a problem, Mike had the answer to it. So imagine at one point coming in the league saying, I want to be just as good as Mike, or I want to be better than Mike. I want to win just as much as Mike. And you want to do all that stuff. And then you start asking him for advice and you start noticing, I'm the best version of myself right now. And it's things that I don't know. And when I call Mike, it's that simple for him. He got the answer. And when I implemented it, it actually works. He was like, that is crazy. So for you to know that someone has so much more knowledge than you, how can you then come back and say you're better than that person? That's why Kobe stopped participating in that GOAT stuff. He was like, I don't know. Don't put me in there with Mike. I've gotten so much from Mike. I've gotten so much knowledge from Mike. No, I'm not better than Mike. Well, Mike was the same. He don't ever say he's better. He says it's disrespectful for the guys that was before me to say I'm the GOAT. It's for y'all to talk about, and I won't ruin the conversation for y'all, which is good. Because, yeah, we like having the conversation and talking about it sometimes or whatever. But Mike is like, nah, I'm not going to disrespect the greats. Now, what he said at a house party with just them and Magic was in there, nah, I'll whoop y'all tail. Yeah, that's competitive nature. But the respect factor comes in when, no, I'm not about to go out in the public and say I'm the greatest of all time and disrespect all the guys that came before me and look dumb, especially knowing I've gotten advice from them dudes. Magic and Bird has given me several tips, which is what I'm passing down to Jamal Mashburn and whoever else want to ask Kobe and whatever the case may be. Scottie Pippen, I'm pretty sure as well. So that's respectable. You can respect it. And Mashburn was saying, look, man, I thought I knew a lot. When I started talking to Mike, I knew I ain't know. I realized I didn't know anything. But Mike gave credit to Bird and Magic for what he was giving Mashburn at that time. He's like, this is what they told me. And this is what the generation is supposed to do. You're supposed to pass that junk on to the next generation. Right? So it's disrespectful that anybody would come out here and say that they're the GOAT and just kind of like crap on the generations before them and the greats that they standing on their shoulders and the people who laid the foundation and stuff like that. You just don't do those things. And we got players and we know players who've done it. Right. But yeah, the IQ thing is not unique to LeBron. It's not unique to Magic. It's not unique to one person. It's not unique to Michael Jordan or Kobe. All of them dudes at that level, Stockton, Malone, Barkley, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Pippen, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Penny, all them dudes that was on that superstar level, they're not dumb. They're not low IQ basketball players. Dennis Rodman, very high IQ. They're not low IQ basketball players. Please stop believing the hype. Please stop believing that nonsense. They're all high IQ basketball players, and I'm never going to say one has the best IQ of all time. I mean, we give LeBron credit for being the best family man, the best dad, the best husband, the best to stay out of trouble. They want to give him the best player. They want to give him the highest IQ. Like, where are these titles coming from? It is insane, the insecurity that's oozing out of a LeBron fan because the guy that they're fanatic of is insecure like that. So I get it. But that's it. That's the show. I appreciate y'all for jumping in here, man, on this live. I know it was late or early, wherever y'all might be at. But other than that, what is today? Be Sunday, football. Maybe I'll come in here again tonight. Try to get in here a little bit earlier then. So we can get some phone calls in here. I know it's late and people don't want to make phone calls and wake people up in their house, but I catch you on the next stream, man. Peace.